Le plan stratégique de l'initiative a été demandé par le consortium des membres l'année dernière à Madrid. Et ce plan, nous avons commencé à l'élaborer dès le début du mois de janvier par une réunion du secrétariat. Marc, d'ailleurs, Bernard, qui est en Allemagne habituellement, nous a rejoints à Montpellier avec Paloma et d'autres pour pouvoir permettre de lancer ces réflexions. Et durant ces quelques jours intenses de réflexion, nous avons commencé à mettre les bases que nous avons proposées au bureau, qui était la version 0.0 et qui contenait essentiellement la vision, la mission, les principes généraux et l'ambition qu'il pouvait y avoir derrière ce plan stratégique. Avec l'aide des membres du bureau et des collèges, il y a eu plusieurs itérations avec les membres de l'initiative pour recueillir leur avis, leurs commentaires sur le travail qui était lancé. Et c'est ainsi que de la version 0.0 à la version 2.0, qui est celle qui a été validée par le consortium, il y a eu 3 versions intermédiaires. Oui, et les 3 versions intermédiaires, excusez-moi, cela fait en tout 5 versions en 4 mois qui ont été examinées par le bureau, travaillées avec le secrétariat exécutif et les membres. Et donc, finalement, le 29 mai, nous avons lancé pour une quinzaine de jours un vote électronique pour permettre aux membres du consortium de se prononcer sur ce plan stratégique qui a donc été validé. Alors, je ne vais pas revenir dessus très en détail, mais je vais vous donner l'essence de ce qu'il y a dedans. Ce document est bien évidemment disponible sur notre site Internet. Et il recoupe surtout une mission, une vision qui est très importante, qui nous mène à 2050, avec a worldwide healthy and carbon-rich soil to combat climate change and end hunger. C'est une vision très forte, qui a été saluée d'ailleurs par les champions qui travaillent à la préparation de la COP26 pour Glasgow et qui ont dit que vraiment, c'était important d'avoir cette vision en tête pour pouvoir poursuivre nos activités et donc il saluait la qualité de ce travail. Je ne reviendrai pas sur la mission, mais c'est extrêmement important. Elle permet de condenser un peu ce qu'on va mettre derrière cette vision et le plan qu'on est en train de préparer. Ce qu'il faut savoir, c'est que cette initiative repose aussi sur des principes généraux. Le premier d'entre eux est que nous plaçons au centre de l'action la santé des sols. Que les agriculteurs et les forestiers sont les acteurs clés du travail et que c'est eux qui feront le travail, donc il faut qu'absolument qu'on les valorise et qu'on les mette au centre. Une chose importante, c'est que tout doit se faire dans le respect de la tenure foncière. Ça a été dit pendant le segment de haut niveau, mais c'est extrêmement important si on veut que les gens fassent des choses avec leur sol, il faut qu'ils soient sécurisés sur leur terre. Autre chose extrêmement importante, c'est que ce que nous lançons et ce que nous faisons doit être orienté et basé sur la science. C'est important de le dire et de le rappeler. Et grâce au comité scientifique et technique de l'initiative, qui est multidisciplinaire et qui est international, nous avons cette base scientifique dont nous avons besoin. Un autre principe important, c'est que ce n'est pas le secrétariat exécutif qui fait le travail, contrairement à ce qu'on pourrait le penser, mais il est là pour faciliter et organiser. Et ce sont aux membres et aux partenaires de faire ce travail de façon volontaire pour la mise en œuvre de ce qu'il découlera de ce plan d'action, de ce plan stratégique, à travers le plan d'action. Un des principes généraux qui nous guide, c'est que bien évidemment, nous privilégions la collaboration interinstitutionnelle, que nous avons une approche pluriacteur qui travaille sur une coopération publique-privée en ayant un support mutuel entre les acteurs, la notion d'open access, d'accès aux data aussi est important, libre est aussi importante, et l'allocation optimale de ressources, incluant bien évidemment ceux qui sont à la base du travail, c'est-à-dire les agriculteurs et les forestiers. Enfin, une capacité d'apprendre et de réagir, de s'adapter, d'avancer dans un esprit d'équipe qui est extrêmement important pour avoir toute la flexibilité disponible pour conduire ces actions et mettre en œuvre ce plan d'action qui représente quand même des défis complexes. Bien sûr, on ne peut pas ne pas prendre en compte l'égalité des genres et la place des jeunes et des minorités ethniques au sein de l'ensemble de nos travaux. Ce plan stratégique est organisé en 6 grands buts qui vont de A à F, chacun étant associé à une action majeure, hein, comme on peut le voir, tout ce qui est conceptualisation, mise en œuvre, promotion, collaboration, suivi, et puis des actions qui sont des actions transverses, avec pour chacun des objectifs qui composent ces buts, une description, mais aussi un point de départ et des cibles à 2030 et à 2050. Alors, on a regroupé dans ce schéma qui ressemble un peu aux anneaux olympiques les 6 buts majeurs du plan stratégique, qui sont composés chacun d'un certain nombre d'objectifs. Donc là, au total, nous en avons 24, avec au centre donc les actions transversales qui regroupent 3 de ces objectifs. Voilà, j'en ai fini pour la présentation générale de ce plan stratégique. Vous le retrouvez en français, en anglais, en espagnol sur notre site internet. Et je cède la parole maintenant à Marc pour vous expliquer, à partir de là, que faisons-nous, qu'avons-nous commencé à mettre en œuvre et où cela doit-il nous mener?
Okay, the second presentation of today. Now, we heard a lot this morning about what needs to be done in this, and now we really pushed hard to get things done on the ground, yes, but it needs to be planned. So to provide a supportive framework and action plan is the central mission of 4p1000. I'm just going to tell you a bit how this looks like. So I have 4 main questions that I want to answer with this presentation. First, I would like to share with you how we are organized so you get a better idea of where we stand. What are the main actions that we're actually carrying out? What do we exchange? How do we exchange and collaborate? So just to tell you a bit how we operate in daily life and with our partners, and how do we elaborate the implementation strategy, which we started now. How do we actually get from a strategic plan to an implementation strategy that will direct projects and activities on the ground? So how are we organized? Now, first of all, you're all aware that we have a forum, and a big part of the forum members are also in the consortium, which has the power to decide. We have, of course, the executive secretariat, we have the scientific and technical committee, and since last year, September 2019, we have the bureau with representatives of these 3 entities that meet regularly. Polls held 7 times last year to give major orientations to the direction of the initiative. Now, starting from when the strategic plan was adopted in June, we asked ourselves, how do we start work on these 24 objectives, and how do we actually reach the targets we've set? And we said, listen, let's call upon the forum and our friends and ask them to join task forces, which we created around the 24 objectives. So we launched a big campaign and we got a high turnout. So we have now 319 experts around the world from different organizations that actually joined these task forces. So that was a major new block of action, which was very much positively responded by all members of the forum. An important point that we're working on, as you said, we're not really doing things. We're doing, we need support. We're organizing things, we're looking for synergies, and we're building partnerships. Now, of course, an important partnership is the one with the Alliance of Biodiversity in SIAT, where the Secretariat will be hosted starting next year. Another important alliance or partnership is with AFRIS, the African Innovation Services. They're providing the electronic platform. They're based in Benin, and they're making sure that we have a cutting-edge electronic support system that facilitates all communication and documentation and exchange in real time. Now, an important partnership which is now just emerging and which we're working hard on, Konrad Egenolf, me, and the team at PLE with GIZ, they have complementary activities, and they saw what we're doing. We're working for several years together, but they came up with the idea of a community of practice, which basically are professionals that implement projects on the ground. It's not the one doing the projects, but the ones organizing the projects that will bring along change. And they looked at the model of the strategic plan. They looked at the task force and said, listen, let's do a few workshops together and try to organize this community of practice. So this really becomes very big. And this is a bit a model of what we would like to see from this audience now, to build such partnerships, just to allow synergies. So GIZ invests, but they get a network, they get an electronic platform, they get a platform to present their work, and it's really win-win on both sides. So I think this is an encouraging example where we should go to mobilize the support we need to turn all these ideas into action. Now, they are the ones doing the projects and action teams. Now, what we're looking, and we had the GSP this morning with us, and I think that's quite encouraging. I would love to see that we have this in our outlook tomorrow, our roadmap for 21. I think we need regional councils to make sure that we tap fully on ongoing regional programs and specificities that are in different regions. And I think we need some kind of decision bodies in decentralized mode. And I think we're not going to do this alone. I think we will need basically, partnership with FAO and the GSP to develop these regional councils and avoid duplication, but making sure that whatever action is taken also contributes to the NDCs of these different countries. Now, presently, I'll just give a few figures. These are figures that give you a size of our network. It is clear that NGOs, 33% of our member organizations are NGOs. See a few figures. Then the regions, the biggest region, most of the organizations come from Europe, but it has decreased. We have an enormous increase now, especially in Northern America, but Africa is quite good represented, and to a lesser extent, Latin America and Asia, we're starting. But I think it clearly indicates there's some work to do. And this again points to this importance of getting regional initiatives going to get to a more balanced picture. Yes, good. What do we do? What are our key activities? First of all, we provide a platform where we can meet, share, learn, and collaborate. The second, of course, advocacy. We're participating in a large number of events throughout the year. We're organizing events for specific topics. Strategy development, very important. So the first one was a strategic plan that Paul already presented. The implementation strategy, which is under development now. And then, of course, the most important ones are the action plans and projects that will start once we have developed the implementation strategy. We'll start with the action plans and project proposals in March 21 onwards. I hope this will be a speedy process. And of course, we will involve everybody to massively work out these plans and to provide bankable projects, which was mentioned several times this morning. Promotion is an important thing. Building partnerships for solidarity, I think I talked about this already. And monitoring dashboard, we will develop that. That's the last of our objectives. It's the F3 objective. We'd like to have a dashboard that actually allows everybody to see where are we with soil health, soil carbon action sequestration actions worldwide, what are projects that are going on, and having a map or a dashboard that gives a bit of statistics, how is the movement going forward. An important thing is generating ideas and to encourage and overcome barriers. One I will present a bit later, the twin regions. I think sometimes we're just faced with very difficult situations. We all see that the situation is dire, it's critical. And sometimes you're just running out of ideas, and we really need out-of-the-box thinking to overcome these barriers, yes, which are very much systemic. And I think our president also pointed to this, that it's not enough paradigm shift. We need a system change, and this needs just new ideas. And I hope this afternoon later to present the Twin Regions project, which is one of those, but we hope to get more ideas in. How do we exchange and collaborate? We have the platform. I think many of you have seen it. It's really cutting edge. It is a tool which is excellent. It allows to really It boosted our work enormously at the Secretariat, and Office is really providing a great support to this. We have 900, almost 1,000 users on it, 550 organizations, 70 different team spaces organized in 8 categories. The electronic platform, of course, the Confluence Wiki is at the center. We have a chat, a Rocket Chat that we're using very effectively, a video chat and cloud file server, and a dedicated for us. And basically the idea is reduce mail traffic. It's very important. Find everything in one place easily, and to share information in real time. So as we speak here, Conrad and Julia are taking notes, and we can even see them immediately after the meeting. So we don't have to write up and down mails and asking for updates. How do we exchange and collaborate? Implement the strategy and partnerships. Now, the role of task forces is really elaborate and implementation strategies for achieving objectives and reaching targets. The second, invite other partners to join. The third, mapping of ongoing actions and projects. Initiate the formation of project teams to develop and implement actions and project plans. Lobby for support. Monitor progress. And advice to the community of practice and other interested stakeholders. Though that is a bit a generic role of the task forces as we have defined it. The purpose of an implementation plan. Really, we want to have a solid plan which is trustworthy and which is a convincing document that is a useful reference for investments and decision making. So it should really be something which is also helpful to structure our interventions and to monitor our interventions. I think a last point, how do we exchange this? I've already talked about this, is brokering these partnerships as we did with. I think we'll continue strongly on that one in 2021 with everything we have achieved. I think it's now high time that we go towards partners and invite partners to join and to join forces and push this thing forward. How do we elaborate the implementation strategy? Now, with the number of people we had, and with the handicap of not being able to meet physically, I said maybe this is an opportunity, and we came up with the idea to use the Delphi method. I think to some of you it might be known how this works. In fact, it is consensus building based on experts' opinion. And what you do is we send out 5 questions to all 319 task force members, and we ask them to answer, what is the problem of the objective on which you have on which you're working? What are the causes behind these problems? So a better understanding and a common understanding of the problems that we're addressing with each objectives, and what are the underlying causes of the problem, and what are the consequences and the effects of these problems. So that we have a common understanding. And then the 3 other questions, it's more really for the implementation plan, which is basically consists of critical success factors, barriers, and what activities do we have to invest in order to reach the targets and achieve the objectives. Now, so we have a round 1, we ask people to provide these answers, we summarize feedback, and in round 2, we bring back a summary of the feedback and give the experts the opportunity to revise their first input and to take on board opinions that they learned from others. So it is really to see this, no, there were other guys out there, they're intelligent and good proposals. I will adopt this and I adopt my, so we get to a better, so each one of us has an opportunity to improve his response to his original response. The third round is then consensus building. So we have a list of responses for each of these questions, and experts will now score from 1 to 9. How important is this response as compared to the other responses? And we evaluate consensus. If the mean is below 5, we exclude the response because we say it is not for everybody interesting, so it has a low mean. If the mean is greater than 5, but the interquartile range is greater than 1, so we have a big variation between the responses, the scoring, we ask the experts to revise their scoring so we can narrow down the scores and come to a value which is below 1. And these then are the responses that we will consider in the development, in the writing, editing of the implementation strategy. So it's an actually very scientific method of going forward and bringing all the heads together and all the collective know-how and expertise that is in these 316 heads. Now we're very happy to see we have an enormous turnout. We have 116 experts that have contributed, which is enormous. If you look at the different colleges, we have a very equal distribution. It's always between 30 and 30%. So we're very pleased with the results. We don't have only experts from research, but we have many experts from the other colleges, at least in potentials-wise. Now, if you look at it, we have in total, so each answering these 5 questions is not easy. And we appreciate a lot the inputs that we got from the experts, but we got 191 studies done in a period of 1.5 months. So that's incredible. And of course, we have 4,500 responses to trade. We're working on it, and we're quite confident that we'll send out the first summaries just right before the end of this year. So that's my aim. And then go to round 2 and ask people to revise their first answer and make a step forward, and then having finalized it somewhere, the implementation strategy somewhere around end of January, early February. Now, thank you so lot for your attention.